Hi and welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me. This is part 1 of my creative journaling series, and this will be about the main type of journaling that I do, which is what I'm calling a single signature journaling. And if you haven't already seen the video I did previously, I've put a link down below so you can have a look at that. This will be an extension of that first video. So just to summarize, the single signature journaling that I do is like a typical traveler's notebook style, but I've made this is a handmade planner that I've made to the size and specifications that I've found through trial and error worked the best for me. They have a hard cover, and I have 5 bands in mine, little booklets for different purposes, and at the back I have a signature that's for journaling. And these are a place where I do a bit of anything goes really, but they tend to be a place where I've been able to combine lots of writing, which I really enjoy, with a little bit of creative energy and spark. So what happens is when I've filled a signature, I take it out, I keep them together until I have 4, and then I make them into a book like this one. And this is the latest one that I've made, and that goes, I found that most of them seem to go over a 2-year period. So this one was is 2019 to 2020, and that's the last one I made. I have at the moment 4 signatures ready and almost a 5th one ready to go, so I'll be making a new journal very shortly. So for interest's sake, I'll just show you through this latest one. So pockets, some mandalas, lots of collage, colouring pages. Sometimes I colour them, sometimes I don't. You know, little bits of interesting snippets that I've collected. Another colouring page. Calendar pages. So I thought what I'd do is show you how I go about putting together my signatures. So here I've got a pile of different types of papers, wrapping paper, book pages, scrapbooking paper, more wrapping paper. Lots of things that just will give me that bit of interest when I turn the page. Some off prints of my jelly plate, calendar pages, as I said before, more bits of braid off. When I'm doing my jelly prints, I brayer off onto other papers so they give me a little bit of colour on a page. Digital prints, brown paper, and lots of colouring book pages that don't really work for me in books anymore. I just don't do the amount of colouring in I used to do. But I do like to have the occasional page in my signatures to colour in if I feel so drawn. So put them aside. And then what I have is sat down one day and just put together a few signatures that are ready to go. And I've got 3 there for when I'm ready, and I just choose which one I'm drawn to the most when I go to get one. And the thing with this kind of journaling for me is that I've found it's not just a record of my life, but a record of how my journaling and by extension my art and creativity has evolved. You will notice when you watch the previous video how I've shown you through all the journals that I've made, so the books that I've made so far, and every one is different. And as I go back through them and have a look, they're just a really fun way for me to see how my styles have changed in that particular 2-year period. The types of things I do in them doesn't necessarily change or stop, but often what happens is that I'll find a new focus, something that I want to spend more time delving into. And in the case of this latest one, I wanted to start working with the moon cycles. I wanted to start learning more about the moon cycles, and with the help of this beautiful oracle called the Moon Oracle, I've started doing the month ahead, photocopying off each card for the 8 cycles of the moon, and writing up what to look out for in that particular phase of the moon. So I've been doing that each month and quite enjoying that. I still do a little bit of writing on different things that have happened. I do little cute signs and symbols that have occurred, like these beautiful kookaburras visiting me in my garden quite a lot lately. And that's so beautiful because they're the most gorgeous little birds. Previous months lately have been not them ones, these ones. Again, different things like colouring pages, reflections on different things that have happened. Little bit of collage. So these last few ones, these ones of this year, have tended to be about card spreads and reflections and things that, I've looking at different things that have, looking at what events in different ways and reflecting on them with the use of cards. But overall, I've come up with a few benefits that I wanted to mention that I find from this kind of journaling, and you might find that too if you were to start this kind of system. The first and foremost is that it removes the blank page paralysis, because as I move through these signatures and move to the next blank page, there's always something interesting, and often that can be what I turn to, can be a jumping off point to what I'm going to journal about. If there's, happens to be a picture on the page, or particular calendar page, for instance, a different location, I could journal about that. What I feel when I look at that, for instance. So that is a biggie for me. Blank page paralysis. It takes that away. It adds visual interest and variety to my writing. As I said before in the video, that I love writing, but for a number of years I tried using journals that were just pages of writing, and I never felt drawn to keep those. But these, absolutely, I just love making them into books and having them on my shelf to flick back through and have a look at where I've been, what kinds of things I've experienced, and just the joy of life, really. It's a way of getting more out of my life and making more out of the mundane, if that's one way to put it. So it feeds my creative spark without the pressure that full-on art journaling brings me. Again, like the writing-only journals, full-on art journals never worked for me either, because to me they felt like work, that when I sit down to a page, I have to do all this work to finish the pages. And I guess because my art practice involves so much art, including canvas art and lots of art, I get my creativity out, that on the canvas. So this is a lovely way to feed my creative spark in a book without that pressure. Another thing is that I can use limited supplies, so just a few pens, some glue, different pieces of collage paper, some collage images. Cut out words is another thing that I often use. I've got a little baggie full of cut out sentences and words that I've collected out of magazines or in different places, and I just will stick my hand in sometimes and pull out a word or a sentence, and I'll use that as the starting point of a page. And all these things add up to being freer and feeling freer, because I'm not trying to make art masterpieces. Fact is, mostly I'm the only one that will ever see these until I'm gone, and then my family will be looking through them. Which brings me to an interesting point before I finish up that I've noticed with my journaling. Although my journals are a place where I record feelings and moods and things that are usual in a diary type journal, I do tend to censor my writing. Not in a way that it stops me from being truthful. I'm still very truthful in my journals, But overall, I don't tend to do that type of cathartic writing in about myself or my feelings about other people inside these types of journals. I don't do anything that I wouldn't want another person to read. That kind of writing I reserve for scrap paper that I can use for the cathartic process, and then I can just get rid of it. These journals are a lovely place to just read back through and to see, highs and lows and everything in between. It's all there, but I just don't want to be keeping records of angry writing or vengeful writing. Not that I do a lot of that. I don't have a need for that. But these books, I want to enjoy going back through them. I don't want them to be cringeworthy for me, so they're not going to be something that I don't want other people to see. Anyway, rant over. But that is just something that I've noticed as I've been going back through my journals, is that there is a little bit of a censorship going on there. But it's an enjoyable censorship. I don't feel like I hold anything back that I need to be hanging on to. So I hope you've enjoyed this short introduction to my single signature journaling. I hope there was something in it that was of use, and perhaps it has inspired you to try this type of journaling. As I said at the beginning of the video, this is part 1 of my creative journaling series. Keep an eye out. I'm thinking now. I did originally say that I was going to do 4 parts, a video for each type of journaling that I do. But I'm starting to think now I might actually add a how-to, or a smaller, maybe a brief tutorial of how I use each particular, or how to do each particular journaling. So in the case of this type, I'm thinking I might actually, that part 2 might be just a quick tutorial on perhaps the process I use, the synchronistic drawing of the words and then building a page around that. I'm not actually sure, but I'm hoping that whatever I decide on will be of interest. So thanks for watching. Sorry about the rant, and hope that it wasn't too boring. And again, thanks for watching, and bye for now till part 2.